Good morning all.
Good morning, sir.
So we know already in the previous section we discussed that what is diffraction and two types of diffractions. One is Fraunhofer diffraction and second one is Fresnel diffraction. Diffraction is nothing but when the light ray incident on the obstacle, the light rays bends towards the edges, so that this phenomena is called diffraction. When at the bending area, when we observe, it means in the shaded area, when we observe, there is bright and dark bands can observe by using the telescope. So this diffraction divided into two types. One is Fraunhofer diffraction and the second one is Fresnel diffraction. Fraunhofer diffraction is nothing but the distance between source and the screen is infinite. Source and screen is infinite, so that the rays which is coming from the source is parallel, that is plane wavefront. In case of Fresnel diffraction, the distance between source and the screen is finite. It is nothing but limited distance is there, so that the plane wavefront is not plane wavefront, that is maybe spherical wavefront or circular or maybe cylindrical wavefront. Now we are discussing about the Fraunhofer diffraction due to single state. When the light ray is incident on the single state, what happens in the diffraction area? Now we will discuss. So now our aim is Fraunhofer diffraction. Fraunhofer diffraction due to single slit. So single slit is nothing but there is only one slit that may be taken as A, B, whose width is taken as small e. So this is Fraunhofer diffraction. So the wavefront is plane wavefront. So the rays are parallel. When these rays incident on the screen, the sub-incident on the slate, according to the Huygens principle, every point on the slit acts as a source to the secondary wavelets. It is nothing but the waves coming from the slit will move in all directions, along this direction, along this direction, along this direction, and here also along this direction, along this direction, along this direction. At the middle of the point also, it moves in all directions according to the Fresnel theory. So in the Fraunhofer diffraction, to observe the resultant intensity, lenses are must. So there is a lens is required to concentrate all the rays, and this is the screen. Of course, in place of screen, we may use telescope eyepiece. So not only screen, when we observe, when we place a telescope eyepiece on that side, from the telescope eyepiece, we can view diffraction pattern. So, if the rays coming from the slit is normally incident on the lens, it is nothing but these secondary waves is passing through the direction of the incident wave, concentrated on the screen at a point P0. So, there is the intensity is very maximum, that is called of course principal maxima. According to the Fresnel theory, all these rays does not move in the direction of a incident ray, and these rays will move in different directions. For example, the ray is diffracted at an angle theta. These diffracted rays will concentrate on the screen at a point that may be taken as P, where we want to observe the resultant intensity on the screen at point P. So that is our aim to calculate or to observe the pattern of single slit. So to observe the intensity, firstly we want to calculate path difference and phase difference, because the resultant intensity is depending on the phase difference. So how can we calculate path difference? This is, we know AB is equal to small e, that is the width of the slit. Now a drawn from A to this scattered ray, this may be taken as a C. If this is angle of diffraction is theta, this angle is also theta. Now this is A, B, C is the right angle triangle, because at the C there is a normal, that is 90 degrees. There is two rays, one is AP and second one is BP. So the resultant intensity depends on the path difference between these two rays. This AP and the CP is nearly equal when we draw normal to the BC. Then this BC is called path difference between these two rays. BC is the path difference between these two rays. So path difference is equal to BC. So how can we calculate BC? From the triangle ABC, this we know AB is equal to E, this angle BAC is equal to theta, this is BC is opposite. So opposite and hypotenuse are there, that is trigonometric ratio sin theta. From that sin theta is equal to BC by AB. Of course that is BC is equal to AB sin theta, but we know AB is equal to E, that is E sin theta. So that is equal to path difference is equal to small e sin theta. But what we require? Phase difference is required. So we know that the relation between phase difference and path difference is phase difference is equal to 2 pi by lambda into path difference, where BC is path difference we know. That is equal to 2 pi by lambda into, that is path difference is E sin theta. So this is the path difference or phase difference between two rays, which is at the edges of the slit. It is at the edges of the slit. But there is number of rays which is passing through the slit. Of course, there may be n rays. N small n is the number of rays which is passing through the slit. Of course, this is one ray, this is one ray, this is one ray. There is a different way rays are there which is passing normal to the slit. Now what I require? What is the path phase difference between two consecutive rays? If there are m rays is nothing but the phase difference between two consecutive rays is equal to total path difference, that is 2 pi by lambda into E sin theta by total n. Am I right? That gives the phase difference between two consecutive rays. That is equal to 2 pi E sin theta by n lambda. Of course, that is taken as small d. Where small d is the phase difference between two consecutive rays which is passing through the single slit. Now, what is the resultant intensity? We know the resultant intensity I is depending on square of the amplitude. When we calculate resultant amplitude R, can easily find out the intensity. So that we know the resultant intensity R is equal to, due to the n waves, A into sin n d by 2 by sin d by 2. Am I right? Wait, what is A? A is the amplitude due to the single wave, and a small d is the phase difference between two consecutive waves, and n is the number of waves which is passing through the slit. So now, when we observe in this equation, that is resultant intensity R is amplitude R is equal to A into sin n into d is equal to 2 pi E sin theta by n. Lambda is also there, am I right? That is n into 2 pi E sin theta by n lambda by 2 is already there. by sin d is equal to 2 pi e sin theta by n lambda. This is already 2. Now there is 2 cancel and n cancel. Here of course 2 cancel. Now what is resultant amplitude? Now the resultant amplitude R is equal to A into sin pi e sin theta by lambda by sin pi e sin theta by n lambda. When we have to take this pi e sin theta by lambda is equal to alpha, then R is equal to A into sin alpha by sin alpha by n, where alpha is equal to pi e sin theta by lambda. Am I right? Now, of course, if alpha is very small, alpha by n is very small. If alpha by n is very small, sin alpha by n can nearly equal and can be written as alpha by n. Because number of times we discussed that if theta is very small, sin theta is nearly equal to theta. If theta is very small, tan theta is nearly equal to theta. But in case of cos, if theta is very small, cos theta is nearly equivalent to 1. So that we can write that sin alpha by n is nearly equivalent to alpha by n. That is resultant amplitude R is equal to A sin alpha by n. That is R is equal to n into A into sin alpha by alpha. Actually, this is the resultant amplitude at the point P due to the n waves which is passing through the single slit. Now, what is the intensity? Already I told you that the resultant intensity I is equal to R square. So that the resultant intensity I is equal to R square, that is equal to n square A square sin square alpha by alpha square. Now by using this equation, we can analyze what is the intensity at point P. Depending on the value of alpha, what is alpha? Alpha is equal to pi e sin theta by lambda. The intensity may be maximum, that is called principal maximum. May be minimum, that is called minimum intensities. And also one more maxima, that is called secondary maxima. Now one by one we will discuss. The first one is principal maxima. So principal maxima is nothing but where the intensity is very high. Where the intensity is very high. From this, we know if R is maximum, intensity is maximum. So that R is equal to n into A into sin alpha by alpha. So that is equal to R is equal to n A by alpha into sin alpha. We can expand like alpha minus alpha cube by 3 factorial plus alpha to the power 5 by alpha 5 factorial minus alpha to the power 6 by 6 factorial, 7 by 7 factorial plus alpha to the power 9 by 9 factorial and so on. That is about the principle of sin alpha. Of course, when alpha came outside, that is R is equal to n A by alpha into alpha came outside, that is 1 minus. In alpha cube, when alpha came outside, that is alpha square by 3 factorial plus alpha to the power 4 by 5 factorial, where 1 alpha came outside, minus alpha to the power 6 by 7 factorial and so on. Of course, these alphas 2's are cancel each other. That is R is equal to n A into, that is 1 minus alpha square by 3 factorial plus alpha to the power 5 by 5 factorial minus alpha to the 4 by alpha to the power 6 by 7 factorial plus and so on. Of course, if NA is equal to taken as capital NA, that is the resultant amplitude due to the n wave, that is r is equal to a into 1 minus alpha square by 3 factorial plus alpha to the power 4 by 5 factorial minus alpha to the power 6 by 7 factorial and so on. What we require? R is maximum. Am I right? Because if R is maximum, intensity is maximum. For this case, if alpha is equal to 0, all these terms goes to 0. Then what is resultant amplitude? R is equal to A into 1, that is only A is there. Now, intensity I is equal to only A square, R square, that is equal to A square. This is the maximum amplitude. That is the maximum amplitude. When it is, the condition is alpha is equal to 0. Alpha is equal to 0 is the condition for maximum intensity, that is principal maxima. Alpha is equal to 0 is nothing but alpha is equal to how much? Pi a sin theta by lambda. That is equal to 0. Pi a sin theta by lambda is nothing but sin theta is equal to 0. That is theta is equal to 0. This is the condition for the principal maxima. Theta is 0 is nothing but the rays, secondary waves, which is passing along the direction of incident rays. Theta equal to 0 is nothing but the rays, secondary waves, which is passing along the direction of incident rays and concentrated at P0. So this gives the principal maxima. Next, what we require? Minimum intensity. Minimum intensity is nothing but I must be 0 or R must be 0. So for minimum case 2, minimum intensities is nothing but that is R is equal to 0 to required. What is R? N into A into sin alpha by alpha. Of course, that is R is equal to capital A, because N is equal to capital A, sin alpha by alpha is equal to 0. The condition is if sin alpha is equal to 0, then what happens? R is equal to 0. But alpha is not equal to 0. Because alpha is equal to 0 is the condition for the principal maxima. Sin alpha is equal to 0 is required. But alpha is not equal to 0. That is the condition for the minimum intensities. Because at that condition, R is equal to 0, so that I is equal to 0. Am I right? Now, sin alpha equal to 0 is nothing but what is the value of alpha? Actually, sin 0 is equal to 0. Sin pi, sin 180 degrees is equal to pi 0. Sin 2 pi, sin 3 pi, sin 4 pi, and so on, sin m pi. But we know alpha is equal to 0 is the condition for the principal maximum that will be removed. Now, alpha is equal to pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, 4 pi, and so on, m pi is the condition for the minimum intensities. That is alpha is equal to m pi. Of course, it is may be taken as plus or minus m pi. What are the values of m? 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. But what is alpha? Pi a sin theta by lambda, that is equal to plus or minus m pi. Where pi cancel, that is e sin theta is equal to plus or minus m lambda. So that is the condition for the second minimum intensity. Am I right? Now what is required? Now this is required, that is secondary maximum. Now case 3, secondary maxima. What is the secondary maximum? So maxima is nothing but intensity must be maximum. Intensity must be maximum is nothing but the maximum intensity secondary maximum, that is the secondary maximum. So for this case, I is equal to maximum is nothing but and A is equal to capital A, that is A square sin square alpha by alpha square is equal to maximum. That is I. We know if I is equal to maximum, the differentiation of this I is with respect to alpha is 0. Because if it is maybe a maximum or minimum, it is nothing but it is constant. We know differentiation of constant is 0. So if I is maximum, the differentiation with respect to alpha is 0. That is d by d alpha of a square sin square alpha by alpha square is equal to 0. This is like x square, a sin alpha by alpha whole square. Of course, a square, that is 2 into a sin alpha by alpha into, because x square differentiation is 2x. Differentiation of a sin alpha by alpha square, a is constant. Now we require sin alpha by alpha, differentiation is required. That is like u by v method. So we know differentiation of u by v is equal to v u dash minus u v dash by v square. That is v. V is nothing but alpha. U dash, that is differentiation of sin alpha is cos alpha minus u, that is sin alpha, into differentiation of alpha is 1 by v square, that is alpha square. V is alpha. Now this is equal to 0. Of course, this when it is going dot 0, that is alpha cos alpha minus sin alpha is equal to 0. Remaining all terms goes to that side. From this, sin alpha is equal to sin alpha by cos alpha. That is alpha, sin alpha by cos alpha is tan alpha. So that alpha is equal to tan alpha is the condition for secondary maximum. So what are the values of alpha what we require? For this case, we will draw a graph. We will draw a graph. How can we draw graph? This is the condition is alpha is equal to tan alpha. For this case, we draw the first case is y is equal to alpha 1 graph, and the second one is y is equal to tan alpha is another graph. So what is the graph which is having the condition of y is equal to alpha? Y is equal to alpha. This is like y is equal to mx, because we have to taking on the x-axis alpha, on the y-axis we are taking y. Just like y is equal to alpha, which means of course that is next. This y is equal to mx. What is that? Where m is equal to 1.